All right, let's talk about this story. Stephen A. Smith recently appeared as a guest on the Dan Lebatard show, where he openly shared his thought process for firing his former co-host, Max Kellerman. The highest paid on-air personality at ESPN indicated that unlike his previous debate partner, Skip Bayless, Max's personality didn't complement his presentation on the show to no fault of his own. Here we go with the quotes. How do you think Max feels about all of this? Asked Lebatard. About what happened with you too. Here's Stephen A. I have no clue, but what I would tell you is I'm kind of sad in this regard. I don't want anybody to assume that Max Kellerman doesn't work hard. Max Kellerman is a bad person. Max Kellerman is not somebody anybody should want to work with. That's not what this was about. Answer Stephen A. It was about the fact that a debate show requires certain things that I believed he did not bring to the table when it came to sitting opposite of me. If his brother, Marcellus Wiley, was sitting opposite of Max Kellerman, I'm quite sure not only would they have had a successful show, but they would have had a blast doing it. Because their personalities, their presentation, their deliveries, etc. work for them. Just like Skip and I worked for me. Max Kellerman and I did not work for me. It was not a show that I wanted to be a part of for years to come. Woo! He said a mouthful, and he kept it 100. And I love this because this is going to be an opportunity to enlighten all. Because I know all the principles, right? I know Stephen A. I know Lebatard. I know Max, obviously. And I know me. You know, I'm getting to learn myself, but I know me. Why didn't it work? Well, let me enlighten you to who Max is first. Max, working with Max, and I know Stephen A. felt some of this because I heard him say it, that Max will have black people wanting to pull your black card, and you're black. I'm telling y'all because it happened to me. Now, it happened to me in jest, but it still was happening because Max had this whole shtick. He was from Watts, and you know, he's a former rapper, right? So Max, Jewish former rapper, bald-headed from New York. And let's just say Max's old life wasn't as above board as his life is now. I don't want to get my boy caught up, but Max, his street cred was actually real. Let's just leave it there. So if you work with Max, he gonna know all the lingo. He gonna keep it real. He gonna just do everything that plays to him getting invited to the picnic, right? We know what it is. He gonna get invited to the barbecue. And if you're not understanding that's coming, or that hits you and you take that emotionally, you take that to heart, oh, you ain't gonna like Max. And remember when T.O. went on their show and said that exact thing? And I think there was an avalanche of criticism towards Stephen A. Sellout, coon, oh, Max is blacker than you, all that kind of stuff, which I totally hate. And I totally don't understand where y'all coming from that, but I don't want to get off topic. Point being, Max puts that pressure on you if you're a black co-host. Let's just say that. Another thing is, Max is a high volume shooter. Max gonna get his shots off just like you gonna get your shots off. And two high volume shooters on a debate show, you better have equal respect for each other, right? Because if not, one of you gonna look at the other one like, hey, bro, Kobe, you know, pass the rock. And I think Stephen A. is probably looking at Max, pass the rock, chill out, shut up, B, you know? So I think that was a part of it. Max is not a beta. Max is an alpha just like Stephen A. is an alpha. Like those guys, you know, they walk in the room, but they also got to carry on. And it's their ego. It's right there with them. Like they like, yo, I'm here. And Max is hella smart and doesn't suffer fools. And that's not about Stephen A. That's about topics. That's about things they talk about. Like Max is not trying to go in there and do small talk. If Max wants to talk about something, he want to talk about it, encyclopedia version. He wants to go deep, page 8, Wikipedia. Like he wants to go into the bibliography of it, right? So that's just giving you an overview of Max. Now, why Max and I worked was simple. I would let Max drive where he wanted to go. I've always been this type of co-host. Like, dog, I know what I can do, and I know what I want to do. But I think the fun is, where you going? And then either I'm going to ride with you and just enjoy the view and chime in, or I'm going to use your words against you and choke you out. And then I'm going to take the wheel. And then I'm going to give it back to you on the next topic. We ride again. And that's always been me. Like, I can maneuver wherever you go. but I do allow you to steer. Go ahead, bro. You ain't going to take me anywhere where I feel lost or anywhere where I'm out of place. And that's been my gift, and some would say my curse, because I'm not the one walking in there saying, we're doing this way, and no. And I'm not binary like that. So I work well with Max. When he brings that carry-on, he like, where your bags? I was like, right here, dog. I ain't got no I'm just landing, flip-flops, let's go. And that's why we work together so well. Now, Max is not that interested in sparks and debate. He's not. More nuance. He wants to go right in the middle. He wants to layer the conversation. He brings in an idea. I bring in an idea. Original idea. We layer it. All of a sudden, we got this onion making you cry like, damn, that was deep. That's what he ideally wants to do. Now, we know why Skip and Stephen A. worked as well. Let's be real about it. Because his takes are bold. And they're obvious because he is so clear about his stance. He's a master at his craft. So you know exactly where he stands, right? And that's clear. Then you know he's going to be reliable to that stance. Even if evidence changes, Skip is going to stick to that. And it's more extreme, correct? Let's be real. I look at it like this. Skip is what a coloring book looks like when you buy it from the grocery store, wherever you buy your coloring books. He's that bold outline. You see it. You see the shape. You see what they're designing. And then Stephen A. is coming in not only with that journalistic integrity, but he's coming in with that entertainment factor that's second to none, that entertainment value. So Stephen A. is the crayon, coloring it in, giving it life, giving it vibrance, making it pop off the page. Where Skip is that boldness, right? And they both are bold. I'm not saying one is not the other in extreme, but that's how they mesh so well together. Reliable, extreme, bold takes with life and entertainment value second to none. Max and I, we just rolling. But boy, we rolling somewhere that you like, dog, they went there, they went everywhere. So Stephen A. was dead on in terms of why we would work together, but then they wouldn't work together. Because why? Now you got some guy who's entertaining, who could give it to you and punch you, Stephen A. But then Max is like, dog, I just kind of want to just go on this journey, not the destination. And that's why they didn't work. If you really wanted to just overview this, if you really wanted to gloss over it and exaggerate, I think that's why they didn't work. Now, I look at this situation too, reading this and listening to the podcast, as no shots taken at Max Kellerman. And I think people need to understand this. Stephen A. had the leverage. He had the power. And in that power moment, he wanted something different, so he didn't lose his power. And I salute him because he actually went to the bosses and told them straight up. That's what he says. I take him at his word. And Max landed on his feet. Now, I went through a similar situation. It wasn't as clear and concise with Acho and I, but we went through a similar situation. Acho wanted his own show, right? And that show didn't include me. And I knew that from hello. That happened like a few weeks into us working together. Acho didn't want Uncle Jimmy on the show. Y'all remember Uncle Jimmy? Because that was a carryover from Whitlock. And I couldn't fight for Uncle Jimmy because frankly, Uncle Jimmy outlasted his role with Whitlock. Whitlock created Uncle Jimmy and Darnell. And then when the execs were like, yeah, well, Whitlock's gone, why are they still here? I didn't have a strong enough argument, even though I put up a fight. I didn't have a strong enough argument. All of that had to go. All right. But what Acho wanted is what he has now, to a point. What I wanted is what I have now, but I wanted it on the network, but I knew that this is not their business model. This is not narrow sports. This is not, like Stephen A. even mentioned this, and I love him for this. ESPN has a no politics rule. Even though it seems like they leak a lot on the air, it's a no politics rule. Well, I wanted to get into politics. I wanted to get into wider than sports conversations. And that's what I'm doing on this show. So I didn't fit the business model of FS1. I almost was able to force it in there with first things first in my mind and concept. But then the travel was just too much, y'all. I got too many little kids. I got to stay still, blah, blah, blah. So there were restrictions. As Stephen A. talked about, maybe on his next First Take contract, there are restrictions. That said, I just want to make sure we know that everyone could talk about these situations without them always being shots at each other. Stephen A can say, Max and I, water and oil. Skip and I, oh man, that's butter on that toast. But Max and I work well together. I don't know about me and Skip and me and Stephen A. That's been so long, but I just ride with cats and just go where they got to go, and then I get mine off. So it's been amazing to watch how now the media is starting to talk about the media, right? And the media is realizing that everything is going digital, and linear cable looks one way. And obviously what I'm doing and what even Stephen A. and Lebatard are doing is looking like a different animal. It's fun to be out here, I just tell you that. And it was good to hear my name in a glowing term, but at the same time in a real way. Like, he understands who he was working with. He understands what he was going through. He understood that in the moment. He said, I'm not talking past tense. I'm still saying today I couldn't work well with Max Kellerman. So salute to Stephen A. taking it and keeping it real. And salute to my dog Max, who still got 2 shows on ESPN, still rocking on.